A sudden royal rumor has sparked intense speculation about the future of Queen Camilla and the position of Catherine, Princess of Wales. Online discussions are swirling around a dramatic question. Could the balance of influence inside the British royal family be changing? The story has been presented in sensational terms, with claims suggesting that Camilla could face an extraordinary challenge to her position, while Catherine could emerge with a far more prominent role. But before accepting any dramatic headline as fact, there is an important distinction to make. There is no confirmed evidence in the material available to establish that a royal council has actually stripped Queen Camilla of her title or officially transferred her position to Catherine. What exists is a highly dramatic scenario that has captured attention because it touches one of the most sensitive subjects surrounding the monarchy: who holds influence, who represents a crown, and what could happen when royal responsibilities begin to shift. For Camilla, the situation described in the Rumour would be extraordinary. Her position as queen consort was established when King Charles III became monarch, and her public role has developed significantly since then. She has appeared at major royal occasions, supported charitable causes, and represented the institution alongside the king. That makes any suggestion of her suddenly losing her royal status a major claim that would require substantial evidence. Yet the speculation continues because royal audiences are fascinated by moments when tradition, public expectations, and the future of the monarchy appear to collide. At the center of the discussion is Catherine, as the wife of Prince William and the future queen consort when William eventually becomes king. Catherine already occupies a uniquely important position within the royal family. Her public appearances, charitable work, and relationship with William have made her one of the most closely watched members of the monarchy. So when dramatic stories suggest that Catherine could somehow move into a more powerful position ahead of schedule, people naturally begin asking what such a change would actually mean. Would it represent a genuine transformation inside the monarchy, or is it simply another example of how royal speculation can grow online? That question is crucial. A sensational headline can create the impression that a historic decision has already happened, even when the underlying story is based on interpretation, prediction, or unverified claims. For viewers, separating established royal facts from dramatic possibilities is essential. Still, the reason this story has attracted so much attention is easy to understand. Camilla represents the present royal generation under King Charles, while Catherine represents the future alongside Prince William. Their roles are connected to two different stages of the monarchy, making any discussion about a possible shift between them naturally emotional and controversial. And that leaves one fascinating question hanging over the entire story. If the monarchy were ever to experience a major change in its senior roles, how would Camilla respond? And how prepared would Catherine be to step into a larger public spotlight? The answer may be far less dramatic than the rumors suggest, but the speculation reveals just how closely the world is watching the next chapter of the British royal family. As the speculation surrounding Camilla and Catherine continues to spread, another question becomes impossible to ignore. What would actually happen if the British monarchy entered a period of major transition? The answer is more complicated than a dramatic thumbnail might suggest. Royal titles and positions are governed by constitutional rules, tradition, and formal decisions, meaning that a sudden change cannot simply happen because a rumor becomes popular online. Yet the fascination surrounding this story comes from something more realistic. The possibility that the roles of senior royals could gradually evolve as King Charles and next generation continue to shape the institution. Catherine's importance in that future is already clear. Alongside Prince William, she represents a generation that will eventually inherit the central responsibilities of the crown. Every major public appearance, therefore, carries a larger significance. Her approach to royal duties, her charitable interests, and the way she handles intense media attention all contribute to the public image of the future monarchy. That does not mean she is secretly taking over another royal's position. Instead, it shows how the monarchy naturally prepares for the future long before a formal succession takes place. For Camilla, the situation is different. Her role is connected directly to the current reign of King Charles, and she has spent years building her own identity within the institution. Supporters point to her experience, dedication, and growing confidence in public engagements. Critics, meanwhile, have often questioned aspects of her history and public image. That mixture of support and criticism makes her one of the most debated figures in the modern royal family. This is where the online narrative becomes particularly dramatic. A story about the future can quickly be transformed into a claim that a decision has already been made. A possibility becomes a prediction. The prediction becomes a headline. And eventually the headline can be repeated as though it were confirmed news. For anyone following royal affairs, that distinction matters. There is, however, a genuine reason to watch the relationship between the present and future generations of the monarchy. The British royal family is constantly adapting to changing public expectations. Senior royals must balance centuries of tradition with a modern audience that demands transparency, relevance, and personal connection. William and Catherine are likely to play an increasingly important part in that evolution, while Charles and Camilla continue to represent the current era. That creates an intriguing contrast. Camilla has become an established part of the present royal structure, while Catherine symbolizes what many people see as the monarchy's future. Their positions are not necessarily a competition, despite how sensational online stories may portray them. In reality, the institution depends on different generations working alongside one another. Still, imagine the public reaction if an official announcement ever did reveal a major change involving the senior royal hierarchy. The headlines would be immediate. Questions about loyalty, tradition, succession, and the future of the crown would dominate global conversations. Camilla's response would become intensely scrutinized, while Catherine would face enormous expectations. Even a routine change in royal duties could be interpreted as something much bigger, and that may be the most fascinating part of this entire story. The real drama may not be about a secret decision to remove one person and replace another. It may be about the slow transformation of the monarchy itself. Behind every ceremony, photograph, and public appearance is a larger question about what the British royal family will look like in the years ahead. As attention turns toward William and Catherine, the world is watching not only what they do today, but what their growing responsibilities could mean tomorrow. And if the current rumors have taught us anything, it is that even the possibility of change inside the palace can become a global story almost overnight. The speculation surrounding Queen Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales, ultimately leads to a much bigger conversation about the future of the British monarchy. While dramatic online stories may suggest that one royal is suddenly about to lose a title and another is preparing to take over, the reality of royal life is usually far more complicated. Positions within the monarchy do not simply change because of internet rumors. They are connected to established traditions, constitutional arrangements, royal protocol, and official decisions. That is why it is important to look beyond the most sensational version of the story and consider what the discussion may actually reveal about the changing face of the royal family. Camilla's position is particularly significant because she is part of the current reign. Since Charles became king, she has taken on a prominent role beside him, attending state occasions, royal engagements, and charitable events. Over time, she has also developed a public identity that is distinct from the controversies surrounding her earlier years in the royal spotlight. Her supporters argue that she has demonstrated resilience and commitment, while her critics continue to question her popularity and public image. Whatever opinion people hold about Camilla, her presence has become an established part of the current monarchy. Catherine represents a different chapter. Together with William, she is associated with the next generation of royal leadership. That makes every change in her public role especially interesting to royal watchers. As William prepares for his eventual responsibilities as king, Catherine's experience in carrying out royal duties is likely to become increasingly important. But becoming more prominent does not necessarily mean replacing another member of the royal family. A growing role can simply reflect a natural process by which younger royals gradually take on more responsibilities. This distinction is often lost when royal stories are presented through sensational headlines. A photograph of Catherine attending an important event can become evidence of a supposed power shift. A change in scheduling can be interpreted as a hidden palace decision. A comment from a commentator can become a prediction about the future. Once those ideas are repeated across social media, they can begin to sound like confirmed information, even when there's been no official announcement. That is why viewers should approach claims about dramatic royal changes carefully. There is nothing wrong with discussing possibilities or asking what could happen in the future. In fact, speculation can make royal stories fascinating. The problem begins when speculation is presented as established fact. The most compelling content can still be created without pretending that an unconfirmed event has already happened. And there's plenty of genuine drama in the real story. The British monarchy is moving through a period in which several generations are visible at the same time. King Charles represents the present reign. Prince William represents the future reign. Catherine stands beside him as one of the most recognizable figures of the next generation. At the same time, other members of the family continue to carry their own responsibilities and public identities. This creates a constantly evolving structure in which duties can change even when titles do not. For Camilla, the future may therefore be less about suddenly disappearing from royal life and more about how her responsibilities evolve as the reign progresses. For Catherine, the future may be less about an immediate takeover and more about gradually becoming prepared for the enormous responsibilities that could eventually come with being queen consort. Both possibilities are far more realistic than the idea of an overnight palace revolution. There is also another factor that cannot be ignored: public opinion. The monarchy ultimately operates under intense public scrutiny. Every appearance, speech, photograph, and charitable project can influence how people perceive individual royals. Catherine has developed a strong public profile, particularly through her work with causes involving children, families, and early development. William has also increasingly taken on responsibilities connected with the future direction of the institution. Their visibility naturally fuels interest in what the monarchy could look like one day. But increased visibility does not automatically mean that a formal change has taken place. The difference between influence and constitutional authority is important. A royal may become more popular, more visible, or more involved in major events without officially acquiring another person's title or position. Understanding that difference helps separate the genuine evolution of the monarchy from the dramatic theories that frequently circulate online. The story also demonstrates why royal audiences remain so fascinated by succession. The British monarchy is one of the world's most recognizable institutions, and every generation raises questions about what will remain unchanged and what will eventually be different. People want to know whether William will rule differently from Charles, whether Catherine will bring a different style to the role of queen, and how younger members of the family will adapt the institution for a new era. Perhaps that is why a rumor about Camilla and Catherine can become so powerful. It is not only about two women. It represents a larger transition between generations. It invites audiences to imagine the moment when today's monarchy becomes tomorrow's history. It also raises emotional questions about loyalty, family, duty, and identity. Yet the most responsible conclusion is also the simplest. There is no reason to treat an unverified claim about Camilla losing her title or Catherine officially taking her place as confirmed fact without an authoritative announcement. Until such evidence exists, the story remains speculation. That does not make the subject uninteresting. On the contrary, it gives viewers an opportunity to examine how royal narratives are created, how rumors spread, and why certain stories capture global attention. The future of the British monarchy will ultimately be shaped by official decisions, constitutional rules, public expectations, and the people who carry out royal duties, not by viral headlines alone. Camilla and Catherine may represent different generations, but their roles can exist within the same institution without requiring a dramatic confrontation. For now, the most intriguing question is not whether Camilla has suddenly been removed or whether Catherine has secretly taken control. The bigger question is how the monarchy will gradually transform as responsibility moves from one generation to the next. That transition may happen quietly through years of public service rather than through one shocking announcement. And when that future finally arrives, the world will undoubtedly be watching. Every decision, every appearance, and every new responsibility will be examined closely. Until then, the rumors surrounding Camilla and Catherine remain a reminder just how powerful the fascination with the British royal family continues to be.